It was an evening of anticipation as both the men's and women's bowl final got underway at Fix last Monday evening. Competing for the men's title, Cecil Alexander and Gary Tyrrell. On the women's side, Sibby Summers and Daphne Arthur Almond. The evening saw intense concentration, near misses, and quite visible levels of frustration throughout. Each of the competitors showed real dexterity and tenacity throughout, but after a nail-bitingly close set of rounds, the final scores stood at 16-10 to Cecil Alexander for the men and 17-9 to Daphne Arthur Almond for the women. Both Cecil Alexander and Daphne Arthur Almond were crowned the Bowls champions for 2022.
No, it was a really tricky game. I think there was times where both of us were leading at different times. There was a time where I was laying for 4 points and he managed to just draw one ball in, which basically makes a 5-point difference. And I luckily managed to return the favour later on when he was laying 4 and I could draw one in. So yeah, when we went into the last head, I was 2 up. So Gary had to try and knock a few balls around, which unfortunately didn't work for him. So it came down to the last end, so it was a fairly good match. It was good to have a little bit of a competitive atmosphere because it's always good to work on the nerves a little bit. But we do have training sessions and it's going fairly well at the moment. We've seen the list of entries and there's some tough competitors, but we look forward to it, to give it a good go.
It was very challenging and it was very tense actually, and unbelievably I was very nervous, believe it or not, and because we didn't know how the floor played, because the mats were moved, so we had no idea the condition of play. You were just learning on the mat because the mat has its peculiarities and the floor here has its own peculiarities as well. But it was a good game.
Some of the players will go on to compete at the Commonwealth Games in July this year, including Daphne, who's making sure that she gets enough practice in beforehand.
It is a different game, full stop. But adjustment is what we need to do when we're on the long mat anyway. If you might need to roll a short ball or a long ball. So the fact that it's short is actually, it's hard to play, but it's very good for our own training because you have to learn to adjust.
As anticipation for the next Bowls Championship already continues to grow, there is expectation that the next season will be even more rewarding.